like to welcome everybody into some Ryco Performance Friday night NiS top split action on GridVision from Kansas Speedway. Gotta love this racetrack. It's been absolutely fantastic in the next gen car, and we've got, well, 134 laps on offer for you tonight in that next gen car. It's going to be a great one. I'm Austin Edstrom, standing alongside our new commentator, Sheldon Atkins. Great to be here, standing side by side with a old racing buddy of mine, and Austin Derbyshire, as always, behind the production booth, providing you guys with some excellent camera angles. Sheldon, what do you think of the Kansas Speedway?
I hate this place personally, but it tends to put on some good races on occasion.
Okay, well, short, sweet, and simple, and to the point, as we get a nice little Google Earth view of the Kansas Speedway. Nice little mile-and-a-half racetrack out in the middle of nowhere, basically, in, the great empty state of Kansas. I think I said this on Monday night, but if you're not looking at the racetrack in Kansas, you're looking at the Microsoft background, just the rolling green hills everywhere. So you might want to just stay around the racetrack. Got a nice little casino out of the back of turn number 2 that they've recently added. great little addition to everybody in real life. But here on the virtual sim, we're not going to be touching on that too much. We're going to be focusing more on the action on the racetrack, which we're definitely looking forward to getting started here tonight. Sheldon, should we go ahead and move into your keys to the race?
Yes, we shall. The most important thing, early run, you want to stay low. If you stay at the bottom, you save your tires. It's so hard to pass people on this facility that you start burning them off, you're just not getting by anybody. Slide jobs are going to be key. The top line starts to get really powerful later in a run, and the only way you're going to be able to get by them is just to charge a corner, fly up to the top, and hope they break. And most importantly, out of all of it, is situational awareness. A lot of people are going to get torn up today, just, not paying attention to what's going on around them, getting turned, slamming down the wall.
Yeah, you mentioned stay low, and well, we saw that Monday night. It's a lot of tire saving at the beginning of these runs. Everybody just really hugging the bottom side of the racetrack, saving that right front tire, making sure that those right sides make it to the end of the night. Next up, we're going to move into our broadcast picks for tonight. First up, myself, I'm picking Tommy Gossett. I think Tommy's due for a really good run, maybe even a victory here tonight. So I'm picking Tommy to bring it home in P1.
Me personally, I'm going for my boy Tanner Love in the 23. Dude's, I've ran with him a lot on here back in the past, and if he can get up there to the front, man, he's like a shark to blood.
And Austin Derbyshire going to pull up his pick, as always. Anytime Justin Levine's in the race, Austin just kind of picks Levine. So that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Our producer is definitely a bit of a GridVision homer, if you have not figured that one out by now. Still about 30 seconds left in qualifying before we can run down our starting grid after Q is all wrapped up. So we're just going to take a look at a couple of different things here about the Kansas Speedway, including the track temp out there tonight. 103 degrees. Honestly, not too hot. Obviously not a chilly day out there, but 103 degree track temp is not going to be all that difficult, I don't think, for the guys out on the racetrack. We've seen much hotter over the course of the season so far. So 103 degrees out there tonight probably won't make too big of a difference. What do you think, Sheldon?
I think they're going to be gripped up. They're going to be flying. It's going to be a lot of grip down there on the bottom so they can pull sliders. I think it's going to be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the sliders, we're definitely going to see that a lot into turn 1 and 2. And we've seen some people try to make it work in 3 and 4, but the exit at turn 4 is just so tight that it ends up being relatively difficult for a lot of guys to actually complete that move. But qualifying has wrapped up here from the Kansas Speedway, so we're going to use this opportunity to run through our starting grid. And look at that, Cody Terlindi up in the P1 position. Great qualifying effort from Cody. Nicholas Roman on the outside of the front row with 2 Ryco Performance teammates starting right behind him in the second row with Roger Pierce and Jacob Schneider. Paul Bergoli is going to be starting in the 5th place spot with my pick, Tommy Gossett, starting in 6th. Zach Rinker is going to be lining up in 7th with JR Borborema in 8th place, Richard Garcia in 9th, and Clayton Hoffman in 10th. Sheldon?
11th place, we got Alex Murray. Outside of him, we got Chris Wellhite. In 13th, we got Derek Heitman. Outside of him, it's going to be Matt DeCant. Wow, I can't pronounce that one off the top of my head, but DeCiani, there we go. Then we got Brandon Enstrom starting on the inside of the next row with Edward Shearer on his outside. Followed by Brandon Bikey and Brandon Mule. And we got Brad Newman on the bottom. We got Jeremy Davis on his outside.
And that's going to round out a row number 10. So we're going to jump back up to the 21st place spot. Channing Balu in the 21st place position. Tanner Love, Sheldon's pick, in 22nd. Johnny Beldridge is going to be starting in the 23rd place spot with Matt Hollabaugh in 24th. Jake Matheson rounds out the top 25 with Jimmy Mullis starting on his outside in 26th. Justin Levine, our producer's pick, starting in the 27th place spot with John Hall in 28th. Dalton Collins in 29th, and Patrick Moose rounds out the top 30 with Shane Van Gisbergen, the supercar champion that has turned NASCAR driver, starting in the 31st place spot with Maggie McGuire on his outside in 32nd, Jacob Klein in 33rd, Joseph Kazi in 34th, and Thomas Hazard is going to round out our 35-car field here tonight from the Kansas Speedway. Definitely bound to be a good one tonight from Kansas, especially with a NASCAR driver in here. Pretty cool to be able to call a race with Shane Van Gisbergen in it on the iRacing service.
I mean, that's going to be cool seeing what he can pull off here. SVG, that's talent.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can pull off the same stuff that he does in real life out on the racetrack. I do believe that we are on a replay, so the cars are actually pulling into turn number 2, at least our leaders, as we get that fixed over here on on the stream. We see that, that beautiful Jimmy Johnson paint scheme down there on the bottom. So weird to say a Jimmy Johnson paint scheme on a Toyota, but that's what we've got here tonight in that Advent Health number 84. Cody Terlindi always seems to bring a different paint scheme to the racetrack. I'm really liking his this week. He's got Nicholas Roman starting on his outside, and Roman really shoulda, coulda, woulda won the Monday night A Open, the top split race that we called, but teammates came to blows behind him, and then he pitted on the restart, and 10 people stayed out, and we had a caution coming out of turn number 2, and it ruined Roman's night. So he's hoping for a little bit better luck here tonight in the Friday night NIS Open hosted by Ryco Performance, and we're getting ready to kick this one off. A little bit of tire warming up from Cody there, giving himself a little bit of a jump over Roman as Roman's starting to slide up back even with him, coming to the green flag. Cody Terlindi is going to bring us down to the green flag for the first time tonight in the Ryco Performance Friday night NIS top split, and it's a pretty dead heat coming down into turn 1 and 2. Roman with the side draft all the way down to the corner, pins it down on the door of Cody Terlindi all the way through 1 and 2, and he's just trying to stay side by side as they come out of the corner. Got the side draft coming off, and that 95 is moving down the back straightaway. Heavier action a little bit further back in the pack, 2-3 wide racing all throughout, and they're still side by side for that race lead all the way up front. Terlindi's trying to work back on the bottom side of the racetrack. It's very difficult to do this. You know, you're trying to save tires, but at the same time, you want to take that lead. You want to get that fresh air on the front of that Toyota Camry, and he's going to do it this time out of the exit of turn number 2. Nicholas Roman has to slide in behind, but no, he does the cutback coming out of turn number 2, and Roman looking to take that race lead back as we head down into turn 3.
And it looks like Roman's trying to clear. I don't think he's going to be able to get done. Never mind. He's got him clear. Come down the front straightaway. And he's going to lead this lap. It looks like it's going to be a dogfight back into 1 here to see who gets it.
Yeah, Nicholas Roman's got it for now. Jacob Schneider in that new yellow Ryco paint scheme there in P3, trying to follow him through, but Terlindi's able to cover off that second place spot. A couple guys already flirting with a very, very outside through turns 1 and 2, but it might just be a little bit too early. Now, you might want to pick up that track position early on and hope that you get the caution to come down and put on 4 fresh tires. But if that caution doesn't come out, it will hurt you later on, as I see 2, 3, maybe even 4 drivers up all the way up next to the wall already on lap number 4.
Oh, man, track position, that's going to be huge all race long. So like I said, it's just so damn hard to pass here. It's going to be rough. You get caught back into that hornet's nest back there.
It is really, really hard to pass here. You're absolutely correct about that. We saw it Monday night. In the early going, you can really make the moves because everybody else on the bottom is saving tires. We saw Brandon Bikey go from 18th to 1st. And, they're wrecking a little bit further back. Tommy Gossett is around in turns 3 and 4. He makes a great save, but the caution flag does come out. I want to say everybody escaped out of that without damage, or at least without serious damage. But Tommy Gossett was 90 degrees sideways in the middle of the corner, got straightened out by the competitor that turned him. And ended up saving that thing before he got up into another car on the outside. Brandon Edstrom looked to have been involved as well in that number 74 as we take a replay. Well, Edstrom was really just trying to avoid the mess on the bottom, ended up getting a tap from Bikey, and it just about saves it on the bottom of the racetrack. Does a decent job. Actually a really good job from Edstrom to be able to hang on to that thing. That could have very well nosed into the inside wall, and that could have been his night done. We're going to have to get a look at Gossett, though, because that's where it started a little bit further up. He's got to move from Matt DiCiani on the bottom. And, well, I feel like DiCiani was there, and Gossett kind of crowded him down into the corner
Just
a little bit early.
Awareness.
Well, yeah, good point. You mentioned that in the keys to the race. It's just a little bit too early to be crowding somebody down into turn number 1. Gossett got lucky to get away with that one. He'll be able to come back and potentially get his spot back. But that is a big slide out of those tires. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gossett come down pit road, and I'm seeing about 10 or 12 drivers coming down pit road right now.
I'll tell you what, I don't think this is going to be a person looking forward to Darlington more than Tommy this week. I think he's hit everything but the lottery here.
Well, that was an unfortunate one. Like, Matt definitely could have gone down a little bit faster, or a little bit, I don't know, closer to the apron. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just feel like that was just a little bit early to crowd him that early on entry. You know, I don't know. I feel like DiCiani had the run. If it was me, I would have not lifted and given him the spot, but I would have at least drove him down into the corner and been able to race out the other side, or at least I would hope so. I think Tommy was just a little overzealous there, and maybe just trying to do a little bit too much too early.
He's just had some bad luck this week from everything I saw, especially with the Monday night.
Look at that beautiful Wendy's paint scheme on the SVG car, that number 28. I don't really like the number on it. The number font's a little strange, but the rest of the car looks mighty fine. I got to see the Wendy's mobile in action at Talladega a couple weeks ago, and I was actually really surprised that he could, take the pushes as well as he did at the end of that race. That outside line was really coming with Chase Elliott pushing him on the outside until they got somebody throwing a block on him a little bit further up. But he was actually able to take the pushes really well for his first time running the next gen car at a super speedway. I was mightily impressed. Now we get to see what he's going to be able to do here on the iRacing service at 1.5 miles. I've seen him a couple times on the super speedways, but I don't think I've gotten to see him at a traditional style of racetrack.
It's just so cool seeing how these drivers actually use this as a training tool going into a weekend. It's amazing how far sim racing's come throughout the years, man.
And you got to think that someone like him's absolutely got to do it, right? Coming from the supercars and coming over to NASCAR, he's trying to get all the experience that he can, try to get all the seat time. And at the end of the day, there's not enough practice in NASCAR in the current day. So he's got to utilize every single tool that he's got.
It's all about reps when it comes to this stuff.
And Shane's trying to get plenty of reps here tonight in the next gen car. I don't think he's actually racing this weekend, so I'm kind of surprised to see him running the Cup Series car. I might be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty confident that Shane is not running the Cup race this week. Either way, coming up to the exit of turn number 4 here on the restart. About to take lap number 8. Vroman has assumed the race lead, and he should get a little bit better of an advantage than Terlindi had on the first start, given that, the first start, the leader has to wait until green. Here, Vroman just has to go at some point in the restart zone, and he can duck below that white line at any time after he goes. And the green flag's out. Nicholas Roman to the gas first, easily clear of Terlindi in second, and Jacob Schneider's going to follow him through into that second place spot. And it looks like we got a Team Conti car a little bit further back, also making the move for third. Zach Rinker able to get to the inside of Terlindi, and Terlindi has gone from the pole to 4th place in just a handful of laps.
It's pretty tame right now, going down the back straightaway into turn 3. Got a hornet's nest there mid-pack.
Yeah, Roger Pierce is working side by side with Brad Newman coming out of turn number 4. They're just about 3 wide behind him. Even further back, they are 3 wide, trying to work things out. Roger Pierce getting a push from his teammate, Chris Wilhite, down the front straightaway, trying to get down into turn number 1 a little bit better than Brad Newman here on the outside of him. A little bit further up the racetrack, Cody Terlindi still on the inside, moving backwards, moving back to the 5th place spot as Hoffman has been able to get by him, and Richard Garcia is looking for a place, trying to follow Terlindi on the bottom side of the racetrack, but JR Borborema already up to the wall early going up to the outside, but he's trying to make it work, trying to gain a couple positions in the early going. Paul Bergoli, Brad Newman side by side now through turns 1 and 2. Looks like Newman's going to win out on that battle for now. Bergoli just having to settle in behind him. He did not actually fade up to the outside of the racetrack, though. Committed to the bottom side, committed to saving tires. Opened up the outside to Matheson, I believe, in that 92. Matheson trying to make the outside line work. Couple guys just not really worth, or not thinking about saving tires at this point. I'm honestly surprised that A-Open on Monday night, we saw guys single file out really quick, get down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Here tonight so far, we've seen a lot of guys utilizing that middle, utilizing that third lane in the early going, burning up the tires a little bit, but they want that track position and they want it now. Nicholas Roman still easily leading back to the line, working lap number 13 now. Still battling a little bit further back in the pack. Richard Garcia holding on to that position over Matheson. 52 on your screen, 92 in the sim. So if you hear me say 92, that's actually Matheson in that 52 on the outside. Paul Bergoli still working the bottom side of the racetrack, not really content with giving up the bottom groove there down on the apron. Now he moves up to the outside of turns 3 and 4 in the middle lane, giving himself a little bit of clean air through the center of the corner. A little bit further up the racetrack, though, JR Borborema still utilizing that outside groove. He's not content with saving tires down on the bottom. He thinks we're going to have a caution-filled race if he's running the outside this early, trying to gain positions. And we're seeing a couple of those guys really run hard on the outside. Borborema, Newman, Matheson, all committed to the outside groove here, just 13 laps into this thing.
Yeah, it looks like Borborema's going to move up and completely claim P4 as he goes up into turn 3. It looks like he's got eyes on position 3 now on the 02 of Schneider. Sorry about that. Take me a while to get caught up here, but Thanks for riding
Hey,
with me, guys.
this is your first rodeo. We're gonna give you a little bit of time to figure it out, right? This is the first time. I gotta point it out. This is the first time Sheldon has ever called a race on the iRacing service. So we're gonna give Sheldon his dues. I might poke fun on him a little bit at some point, but you know, I gotta let him learn a little bit before I really start going as in on him as I did with Brian Britton in our Champion Power Equipment Trucker Series races on Tuesday. I know that he's not quite from somewhere as negative as South Carolina like Brian Britt is, but at some point we will be making fun of Sheldon for everything under the sun.
Hey, man, VA, look, there's plenty to make fun of about Virginia.
Exactly. Hey, it could be worse, though. You could be in West Virginia. J.R. Borborema looking at the outside of Nicholas Roman here for the race lead. Like I said, he was not content with riding right behind Nicholas Roman. Instead, he's jumped right out to the outside of the racetrack, drove himself up to the race lead from the 8th place starting position. Doing a great job on the outside, but again, we saw Mikey do this on Monday night. He drove up from 18th to 1st in a handful of laps and then dropped back to 18th just as fast. So you got to be a little careful on those tires. And I would think that maybe once you take the race lead that you would jump down to the bottom side of the racetrack and at least save what you can. But Borborema is still content with riding that outside of the racetrack, trying to build a gap over 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
He wants to stretch that thing out, man. He wants to get as far away from these guys as he can. If he gets a caution within the next, 10 laps, he's going to look like a hero. But if he doesn't, it's going to come back and bite him pretty quick.
Yeah, that's the guessing game that you're playing here on iRacing these days, right? You're saving tires. Somebody doesn't, blows past everybody to the front of the field. And hey, if they get that caution, like you mentioned, they look like a genius. So J.R. Borborema is just kind of hoping and praying somebody mid-pack, somebody further back, makes some type of mistake and brings out that yellow flag. We're talking about people moving through the field, though. Brad Newman still trying to get by the Team Conti machine. That's Zach Rinker there for the 5th place position. Newman finding some clean air, then crossing the wake down to the bottom of 3 and 4, and able to get the run coming out of the corner. Not that big of a run, though, to where he's really going to be able to challenge Zach coming down into turn 1 and 2. But Zach fades down to the bottom, looking to make a move of his own, and Brad Newman's going to go all the way to the outside of the racetrack, trying to get a big run off of turn number 2 as they go side by side in front of him.
No, we're about to have 3 wide. They're going 3 down the back straightaway. Newman thought better of it. Now they're still going. They're 3 into 3 here. This ain't going to work out for whoever's in the middle. And I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, you'll learn that half the time you say something, it's wrong on whenever you broadcast. So that's just your first little dose of that. But Brad Newman,
he could have pushed that there, but he thought better of it. It's too early to be making those moves.
Yeah, you start calling it as if you were behind the wheel, right? The kind of move you would make, how hard you would drive it in there, and then somebody does something a little bit different, and it catches you off guard a little bit. They've kind of single filed out here towards the front of the field, except for Newman still looking to the inside here of the 15 of Hoffman. Hoffman was able to go out to the very outside of the racetrack in that 3 wide move just a lap ago and keep that momentum up, keep the position, but Zach Rinker was not to be denied through turns 1 and 2. Got the position away from him, and now Brad Newman's trying to pick up another spot as well as he moves up to the 5th place spot, and Hoffman moves back to 6. A little bit further back, though, let's see, Edward Schur Jr. No, Thomas Hazard is the last car in this main pack, 15-car pack. After that, Jimmy Mullis on back. I mean, that's a hornet's nest. It's just a big pack of cars here from about 16th place. Oh, and here it is. Alex Murray just about gets turned, coming down into turn number 3. Both drivers end up saving it. Dalton Collins and Alex Murray come to blows through turns 3 and 4, and Shane Van Gisbergen takes it 3 wide through the middle, trying to pick off everybody.
What a save.
I need you to be like Rocket League and say it 3 times in a row. And
what
scream it. I need your chat to get banned because of how hard you scream it.
I don't think you guys want me to blow your drums out.
Oh, come on, man. We need the icebreaker, Sheldon. We need the icebreaker.
Man, I can't do it. I got a tiny human.
Next,
sleeping
my
very
goodness.
close.
Oh man, poor tiny humans. That's unbelievable. They're ruining everything. You hear that, folks?
Honestly.
Babies ruin everything. Don't have kids.
It's not advised. Oh, Shane Van Gisbergen into the wall into 1. Got a little punt there from Alex Murray.
Yeah, but he's got a really good run through 1 and 2 here. We remember Shane Van Gisbergen took tires on that last pit stop. A bunch of these guys towards the back. Oh, spinner towards the back. Brandon Bikey gets caught up in it. I believe that's Matt Hollabaugh around with him towards the inside of the racetrack on the back straightaway. No caution flag is going to fly as there's nobody behind these guys, and they're well off of the racing surface. So we're going to stay green. Dalton Collins side by side with Brandon Edstrom. Edstrom wins out that fight, and Justin Levine a little bit further up, trying to pick up a couple positions as they're side by side right in front of him. Brad Newman has worked his way all the way up to the 2nd place position as we were focusing on the battle pack back in the back. Newman using those tires up, trying to get up towards the front of the field, and he's done it. He's gotten up to the second place position, still running that outside line, though. You got to think that all those guys running the bottom are going to catch up to these guys and blow their doors off at some point if that yellow flag does not come out. We almost saw it right here as Matt Hollabaugh got turned, coming out of turn number 2. Brandon Bikey, innocent bystander on the bottom. Everybody does a good job locking it down, not hitting anything, and, well, living to see another day. Race preservation at its best.
Yeah, Newman's been flying through the field, man. How far back did he start?
19th.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Hey, he's going to be hurt. That's hurting tires, though. I can promise you that right now. That is, those things, if we do not get a yellow, it's going to be, they're going to be crying here in a couple laps.
Yeah, that's not going to work out for him in the long run, but, man, that's an impressive launch there.
Yeah, and it is all about track position nowadays. So you got to think, you know, it's just a strategy call at the end of the day. If he gets that yellow, I got to imagine he'll be tire saving next time, right? If he's got the track position, he'll save from second. But whenever you're starting in the 19th place spot, hey, might as well go for it and see what you can get at the very beginning of the race and hope and pray for that yellow. We did have the yellow. It just, you know, it happened on lap 2 or 3, so a little bit too early for these guys to make any use out of it. Alex Murray, Justin Levine were battling out of turn 4. Murray just decides to tuck in behind Justin Levine and push him up to Johnny Baldridge here entering turn number 1. Kind of faded down to the bottom side of the racetrack, looking like he was going to make a move, but instead it opens the door for Brandon Edstrom. But we got a battle up front. Brad Newman to the inside of J-Bar Borborema, down into turns 1 and 2. Tries to slide him, or sorry, through 3 and 4. Tries to slide him, and he's got him on the exit of turn number 4. Just uses enough of the racetrack. Brad Newman from 19th to 1st in just 26 laps. Again, I'd be very worried he's going to drop just as far as soon as those tires wear out.
Oh, and then Borborema's not giving up on it here. He's trying to go back for it, but he's not going to be able to get him here. Right there, what you saw though, that was Newman. He saved a little bit at the start, the front half of this run, whereas Borborema was full send, and you can just see right there how much that benefited him on the long run.
Oh, and Borborema in the fence coming out of turn number 4. That's going to cost him a little bit of time as well. Hopefully, he didn't damage that machine coming out of the corner. But Brad Newman, like you mentioned, he probably did save a little bit better at the beginning of this thing. I remember him running the middle, running the bottom a couple times, and what didn't really push his way to the front quite as fast. We got another driver in the fence a little bit further back. Couldn't quite tell who it was, trying to get an idea. It's Brandon Himmel coming out of turn number 2. Ended up tagging the fence, dropping all the way back to the back of the first pack. These last couple of guys in the back of the initial pack starting to fall off the rest of the main pack and maybe fall into the clutches of that second group here in just a couple moments. And that group is led by Shane Van Gisbergen, John Hall right behind him. They're running in 17th and 18th place positions. They did come down pit road on that initial caution, and they're trying to work their way back up towards the front of the field as everybody's still fighting like crazy behind them. Still a good bit of 2-wide racing. Right now, they've mostly single-filed out. Tommy Gossett looking to the inside of Dalton Collins, entering turn number 3. Levine looked like he was going to look to the inside of Baldridge, thought better of it. And coming out of turn number 4, mostly single file, except Gossett trying to still make that move. Didn't get it completed on Collins that time by.
Yeah, that's an absolute hornet's nest back there right now.
Oh, Justin Levine just about had the run on Baldridge. Maybe a little bit too much gas through the center of the corner. Had to check up, just fade out to the outside groove of the racetrack. Brandon Edstrom around the outside of Johnny Baldridge down the back straightaway. And now Levine just blocks off Gossett coming down into turn number 3, trying to protect the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to take a position away from Johnny Baldridge out of 4. And Levine's going to do it, slide him coming out of the corner. He actually gives him a good bit of room back down the straightaway, allows Baldridge to get back to his right rear quarter panel as they come up to turn number 1. A little bit further up the racetrack, Cody Terlindi trying to get a spot coming out of turn number 2. Tight racing between these guys right behind Richard Garcia and Chris Wilhite. Terlindi trying to get that spot away from Hoffman on the outside of the racetrack. Probably going to do it this time. Looks like he's got him cleared coming out of turn 4.
Right now, Jeremy B. Davis is rocketing through this pack right here. I just watched him pick off 4 cars going into 1 all the way down into 3. A lot of 3 wide back there right now.
Yeah, Jeremy might have done a good job saving those tires in the early going. Now he's picking his way through that second pack. I would just be a little bit nervous because they are a good ways back from the race lead at this point. He's 7.5 seconds behind our race leader. So even if he picks up a couple positions, if this thing runs green, it's not going to really do him too well. He's just a little bit too far back to really make any noise. But a little bit further up the racetrack, or I should say all the way further up, our race leader, Brad Newman, still isn't really falling off. I would expected him to start hurting a little bit. And as I say that, he gets really sideways through 1 and 2, but Newman is doing a great job of holding on, and Borborema, even after he's gotten the dirty air, has done a good job hanging onto the back bumper of Brad Newman.
I will say, to bring us to the back there, Goss's frustration is continuing a little bit. Levine slammed the door on him going down the back straightaway, and Goss had all but turned Levine around going into 3.
Oh, man, that would have been a little bit of Ryco violence here in the Ryco Performance Friday night NIS top split. That would not have been good on lap number 33. Just a little bit too early for inter-team shenanigans. A little bit in front of Levine. Patrick Moose, Brandon Edstrom, a little bit of bump draft down into turn number 1. Levine looking to the inside of Moose through 1 and 2. Might slide him coming out of the exit. He's got the lane just barely, but Moose is going to be able to get back to his right rear quarter panel, use the draft all the way down the back straightaway of Brandon Edstrom in front of him, and hold on to the spot for now. But Levine still committed to that bottom side of the racetrack, trying to gain a couple positions.
You got a spirited battle going on around 10th place right now with around Chris Wilhite and Jimmy Mullis and all those guys. They've been swapping positions back and forth here like crazy the past couple laps.
And Jimmy Mullis was in that second pack not too long ago, and he's fought his way all the way up to the front group here, fighting side by side with our pole sitter Cody Terlindi for that 10th place position. Terlindi not having the start he would have wanted after the incredible pole lap that he laid down, but who knows, he could be saving tires, just biding his time, waiting for the long green flag run to hit in. We're starting to see the guys that save tires, Nicholas Roman, Jacob Schneider, Zach Rinker, they're starting to move up the racetrack. Oh, no, the caution flag has come out, and that's going to ruin all the tire saving we were talking about. I think that would have been right behind Shane Van Gisbergen and John Hall. Sorry, that's not John Hall on the bottom side of the racetrack. Who is that got spun around? Is that Himmel again, Brandon Himmel? Oh, that's a cursed back bumper. We're going to take a quick replay to kind of figure out what happened. We were just about to get into the good part of the run where we're getting the good, the comers and goers, where the tire savers were going to start coming to the front of the pack. But here, Himmel to the inside of the 34, just washes up the racetrack too far. Tags him and spins himself out through the dirt. Unfortunate, this ends up bringing up a yellow as he was off in the grass down the bottom, but obviously coming back up the racetrack backwards will typically bring out the caution. And that's also going to bring us to our first commercial break of the evening. Be sure to stick with us. We got more racing action for you whenever we come back on the Ryco Performance Friday night NIS Top Split.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own. Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen.
Welcome back to Ryco Performance's Friday night NIS Top Split on the grid. We're here from the Kansas Speedway, working caution flag number 2 of the evening. And well, that caution flag saved the guys that were really blitzing their tires at the beginning of that run. Brad Newman, JR Borborema jumped from 19th and 8th up to the front row on this restart due to their tire strategy. And now they've got the same tires as everybody else out there, but they've also got the track position as Brad Newman brings us back to the green flag. And we're back under green once again, working lap number 49. Brad Newman, Nicholas Vroman, and Zach Rinker file out into the top 3 positions as JR Borborema falls to 4th from the front row on the restart.
Right now, we're pretty single file, pretty tame up here at the front. Huge gaggle of cars there, mid-pack, starting around, let me get the name up, around Jimmy Mullis and all those guys back there. We got 3 wide going into 3 SVG in the middle.
Oh, race lead. Nicholas Vroman took it around the outside of Brad Newman. I mean, power move on the outside of 3 and 4. Vroman not really content with riding in 2nd or 3rd this time. Immediately up to the race lead and back down to the bottom side of the racetrack, stretching out that gap over 2nd place. And now Zach Rinker to the outside of Brad Newman. Oh, almost contact between Jacob Schneider and JR Borborema coming out of turn number 2 for the 4th place spot. Brad Newman cycles in front of Borborema, and we cycle down into turn number 3.
It looks right now like Newman's trying to save it. I don't think he liked what he felt on that car on that long run earlier.
I think I'd have to agree with you. I mean, he started getting really, really loose at the end of that first run, and he's maybe just thinking a little bit better of it. He's got the track position this time, but you don't really want to bleed too much. You don't want to fall too far back. Already back to the 5th place spot. Oh, contact between him and Schneider. Schneider through turns 1 and 2. Both of them able to keep it straight, but that was a close call between those two on working lap 42.
You don't want to do that too much, man. That guy on the top line will get fed up with you pretty quick. That was sketchy.
Yeah, it ended up being an aggressive move. I think Schneider might have just caught the apron, ended up skating up the racetrack and tagging the side of Brad Newman there. Both of them were able to continue, though. Brad Newman on the outside now, trying to recuperate some of his losses to the outside of Zach Rinker for the 3rd place spot. And he's got the draft all the way down the back straightaway, and he's going to take 3rd place back away from Rinker. Almost 3 wide, a little bit further back as Garcia and Levine looking to make moves, but up towards the front side of the racetrack, JR Borborema's trying to make a move on Nicholas Vroman for the race lead. Coming out of turn number 4, Vroman cuts the nose off, dives down to the bottom side of the racetrack, down onto the apron to cross the line and back down into turn number 1, still holding on to the lead over the 21.
And here comes Borborema charging the top. He's going to try and get that momentum to run on the back straightaway, hopefully cross over the 95 there in the lead of Vroman. Vroman's going to go down to the bottom here. Oh, he's going to come back up. He's going to try and aero block him, and here comes the 21 back down to the bottom to try and make the move. I think he's going to clear him.
I don't know. I thought
wrong
so too
again.
at the entry
No,
of the
man.
corner, but he could not do it through the middle.
You should just put the power down a little sooner. You'd have done it.
You still don't want to burn out the good out of those good years, though, this early. Still on the bottom side of the racetrack, which is preferable on the early run, I guess. It's not the fastest way around the racetrack, obviously, but it's preferable for saving the tires. I think I would rather be down there at this point, but with these guys racing for the lead, it's kind of hard to know whether you want the clean air or whether you want to save the tires.
Yeah, but I don't know if you could save so much there on the bottom when you got somebody up top pinching you on exit. Because in order to be effective, you got to be able to ride up to the wall.
That's a really good point. It's hard to be able to utilize all the racetrack, keep the wheel as straight as possible whenever you've got the throttle pinned, whenever you've got somebody on your outside. So great point. It's tough to save the tires just as well as you would like to, but I don't know, maybe you could scare them into the outside groove and slow up just a little bit to make sure that you save them. And this time, Borborema not willing to make the move, actually just bumps Nicholas Vroman down the back straightaway, content with 2nd place for now as they both ride the outside of the racetrack. Schneider riding in P3, trying to get to the inside, but Shane Van Gisbergen and Chris Wilhite battling here hard a little bit further back in the pack, side by side down the front straightaway. Shane Van Gisbergen from the 31st place starting position all the way up to 11th as he's battling side by side. Oh, somebody in the wall a little bit further back. Patrick Moose has found the outside fence entering turn number 1, and he has dropped like a rock all the way to the backside of the pack, falling behind Alex.
We got contact going into 3.
Contact. Shane Van Gisbergen gets a little side check from Chris Wilhite coming down to turn 3 and 4. Oh, and Gisbergen gives it back through 3 and 4. A little bit more contact between those two as they're 3 wide coming out of the corner. Gisbergen runs him high on the front straightaway as Matheson looks to the inside.
Oh, they're still bumping, man. They're still banging fenders going into one here. SVG's
Oh! Man, Matheson kind of threw a slider on SVG. He's found himself in the middle side of the racetrack. Oh, SVG tried to look a little low, but he had somebody to his inside. Couldn't quite do it. Who's Justin Levine going to go with? Who's he going to help? More contact between Will Height and SVG entering turn 3. My goodness, I bet you Will Height's not going to be eating any Wendy's anytime soon.
Man, there's no love lost between those two. I'm surprised they made it a lap without locking fenders here.
Oh my, that one was coming down to turn number 1. They just about did it again. Van Gisbergen was sideways, and they're 3 wide right behind him. He might be caught in the middle of this at some point. Levine! Oh! Levine gets into the side of Will Height, who gets back into SVG, who saves it, but Richard Garcia further back does not. He's got that thing locked down on the bottom side of the racetrack, and the yellow flag is flying once again. I mean, we all could have predicted that, right? I mean, that was coming for that was coming for about the last 4 laps.
Well, from the driver commentary right now, Brandon Meal has apparently gone 10-100 in his pants on that one.
That could have been a lot worse. It could have been. Will Height ended up getting the short end of the stick on that, really hitting the outside wall hard with the right front fender. That's gonna damage Will Height pretty bad. I gotta say, that might be permanent wheel damage to where he's not gonna be able to get it fixed. Levine slipped off the bottom side of the racetrack, kind of got pushed up from. I wouldn't say Roger Pierce actually pushed him up. He left him room, but I want to say Levine was more. I think Levine was a little bit more focused on Shane Van Gisbergen in front of him, made a little bit of a move up the racetrack, clipped the left rear of Will Height, and unfortunately just a little bit of a chain reaction after that. Van Gisbergen got a little bit of a touch, but I think he probably got away damage-free. A lot of guys coming down pit road, though. Kind of surprised to see that, considering we just took tires, but the entire back half of the field coming down pit road. Actually, just about everybody came down pit road. Borborema, Brad Newman stayed out. Alex Murray stayed out, but everybody else down pit road once again.
Yeah,
they're taking 4 tires. What in the world? I'm shocked. Can they make it to the end from here? 84 laps? There's no way.
No, there's absolutely no way they're making it to the end from here. I think they're setting up for a long run.
Well, we're going to use this opportunity to give a good little shout out to our presenting sponsor for the Friday night NIS Open, Ryco Performance. At Ryco Performance, we're more than a setup shop. We're a performance provider preparing you weekly with data and setups to get you ahead of the curve of the competition. Whether you're a seasoned sim racer or a weekend warrior, our cutting-edge data packs and one-on-one coaching sessions are tailor-made to push the limits of yourself and your virtual race car, giving you the winning edge that you crave. Why should you choose Ryco? Well, we have expert craftsmanship by a team of seasoned builders, cutting-edge performance enhancements tailored to your vehicle, and unrivaled coaching and reliability to handle the most demanding circuits on the iRacing platform. For more information, visit us at Ryco-motorsports.com, where we build champions and deliver results. That's Ryco-motorsports.com. Big thank you to Ryco Performance for sponsoring the Ryco Performance Monday night top split action, and also tonight for the Ryco Performance Friday night NIS top split. Big thank you to those guys for allowing us to put on this show week in and week out. And heck, we get some great racing week in and week out, I'll tell you what. And we're about to have a pretty crazy restart with 3 guys on a little bit older tires and a lot of guys on new tires that are going to be breathing down their necks.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be one of these guys in the front row here. Because these guys behind them, they're going to be flying, and they don't typically lift when they take tires. I can assure you that.
That's
a
fair assessment. That is a very
seasoned veteran speaking about that one.
Hey, don't I know you from New Hampshire that one year, right? that one time you built a really good setup.
It was that one time Martinsville. I think I went 3 wide with this idiot named Austin and this other guy named Latimer. And both of them wrecked. It was the damnedest thing.
Didn't you win that race?
Oh, no, I finished like 26. It was Martinsville.
Oh, wow. Wrecked the teammates and then didn't even finish. Who would have thought?
Hey,
at least karma bit you in the butt.
One of us got it.
That doesn't do anything for me. But J.R. Borborema leading up the front row, coming back to the green flag. Lap number 53 this time by. Borborema goes very early in this restart zone. Brad Newman crowds Alex Murray on the restart. Pinches him down to the apron. Murray has to go backwards. Nicholas Roman going to take over that 3rd place position. on the newer tires, had a good restart on the outside, but he got checked up from Brad Newman in the middle of 1 and 2. Lost all of his momentum coming out, but Alex Murray gives him a bump coming out of the corner as well. Kind of pushes the 95 back along, giving Roman another chance, but Murray dives down to the inside of the racetrack, maybe looking to take that spot.
Here comes Schneider fighting back on the top on the outside of Roman. I'm sorry.
It's Alex Murray on the inside of the racetrack of Jacob Schneider trying to get that spot back, but Murray on the older tires really just trying to hold on as long as he can. I don't know what strategy play could work for Murray here, losing that many positions or gaining that many positions, but you got to think he's going to lose that many just as easily on this run with everybody else on the newer tires. He's just trying to commit to the bottom, save the tires as much as he can. Further up the racetrack, though, the new tires are coming through. Roman got to the inside of Newman, but Newman did a good job on the outside of the racetrack, getting a good run off of the corner, defending that second place spot, but Roman dives it down. Once again, a little bit of contact further back. Terlindi and Zach Rinker get together entering turn number 1. Terlindi is able to take the position away, and now Zach Rinker's in a side-by-side battle once again coming out of the corner.
Here comes Rinker fighting back on the top line on the 25. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties.
Happens to the best of us. Poor Barema holding on to the race lead coming out of turn number 2. Newman all over the back bumper, though. I would have expected these guys to try to save a little bit, but, well, I think that they're just thinking we got to hang on to the track position and hope we catch another caution in 10 or so laps, as they are really pushing those tires hard, trying to hang on to the first and second spot. Brad Newman, a little nervy coming out of turn number 2, trying to throw the block on Vroman. Not going to work. Vroman to his outside before we get down into turn number 1. And once you get up to that outside groove, it's just about a done deal, especially if you've got newer tires.
And Vroman's going to clear him up here on the top. They're going to file back in here. You got the leader in the 21 throwing a little bit of an aero block right now. He doesn't want Roman to get under him.
Borborema had to lift just a little bit coming out of turn number 4, and Nicholas Roman going to use that to his advantage. Going to get to the inside of the 21, entering turn 1. Big side draft coming down into the corner of Roman, trying to slide him through the corner. Not going to be able to do it. Just runs a nice, neat, tidy line on the bottom side of the racetrack, but he loses a lot of ground coming out of the corner. Brad Newman able to get all the way up to the back bumper of him. And that's going to allow Jacob Schneider to get down to the inside of Brad Newman as he got checked up behind Nicholas Vroman through turns 3 and 4. Schneider to the inside of Brad Newman, and Vroman to the inside of J.R. Barbarema for the race lead a little bit further up. Nicholas Roman once again to the inside. This time he's got a little bit of an advantage coming down into the corner. Drives it in deep down into turn number 1. He's got the 21 clear for now. Does he slide him coming off the corner and take the line? He does. Nicholas Roman up to the race lead.
Yeah, but I bet you that 21 is going to come back here on the bottom. And nope. Okay, wrong again.
You're 0 for 2.
God, I'm just going to stop.
Batting 0.
Things here. This ain't going well. Good God.
Terlindi. Terlindi trying to come back from his first, I don't know, the first run of the day really wasn't what you would expect from Cody Terlindi after he started on the pole, falling back to about the 10th or 11th place spot. But here he's fighting back up into the top 5, into the 4th place spot, looking to the inside of Brad Newman. Newman gets a huge run coming out of the corner. Terlindi defends the outside of the racetrack, makes sure Paul Bergoli cannot get to his right rear. Does a good job defending. Schneider flirting with the apron through 3 and 4, trying to get everything he can through the corner, picks up the spot over J.R. Borborema and fades up to the outside of the racetrack as Borborema tries to cut him back down on the inside. Schneider working that outside groove with the newer tires, trying to keep that spot away from Borborema. And Borborema pushes just a little bit too much, tightens up through the exit of the corner, and he's going to be side-by-side again for the 3rd place spot. Brad Newman able to get a big push from Cody Terlindi coming down into turn number 3, and it looks like they both might be able to get past Borborema coming out of turn number 4.
Oh, man. JR is just falling back right now. I'm pretty sure he's cheesed his stuff off at this point. He's just bleeding spots at the moment.
Yeah, he's got older tires, and he's been pushing hard at the front of the field, trying to hold on to that track position. Still not too bad. Only fell back to the 5th place spot for now, working the outside of the racetrack. But he is hurting a little bit more than Brad Newman, who's up in the 3rd place spot. But Terlindi is trying to make him a 4th place driver as Cody is all the way down on the bottom side of the racetrack, wrapping that white line through 3, fades off of it in 4 just a little bit, and actually gives a little bit more space to Brad Newman than I would have expected coming out of turn number 4. A little bit of respectful racing there between these two. As we're still not at the halfway point. Probably smart to keep the race preservation mindset at the top of your mind.
Nah, man, send it. Just lick the stamp, send it.
I know you would be.
Yeah, that's why I'm 2K.
Are you really? Oh my gosh.
Dude, it's not BO anymore, man.
Wow, I stopped talking to you and you sucked.
Yeah, exactly. I need you. Look, dude, we need to start hanging out.
I'm
again.
magic. I'm magic.
Get wins. Come on.
Okay. Got you. I'll try to teach you.
Yeah, I need to know the
Well,
ways.
there's a reason why I'm in the broadcast booth too.
What are you sitting at now?
Well, I'm at 48, but
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, only 48.
yeah, but speaking of iRating, since we're flaunting our own, even though I mean I wouldn't really call Sheldon saying 2000 is really flaunting. That's not much of a flex, I guess. But we're looking at iRating through the field, and everybody's higher than both of us. So just kind of getting a look at which I really think that iRating is for the top 20, but our ticker keeps scrolling through. So as we see the top 20 now, I believe that is the correct iRating on the screen for everybody 11th through 20th as well. I'm just kind of getting an idea. Nicholas Roman, man, Roman has done a great job working up to the like 8,500. Holy crap.
I think you might need to touch grass, dude.
Wow. Let's oh man. I can't wait for him to hear you say that.
I mean, hey, he's out here dominating it right now, though.
Well, he's doing a good job not touching grass on the racetrack, because if he touched that grass on the inside, he might go for a little spin. And he might lose a good bit of iRating. Justin Levine's doing a good job, though, working through the pack. He was kind of hovering around that 25th, 30th place spot at the beginning of this race. He's working himself up towards the front. Somebody else working himself up towards the front. Cody Terlendi to the inside of our race leader, Nicholas Roman. Was able to get the run down the back straightaway. Roman, though, heavy side draft through 3 and 4. Able to get the 84 loose, and Roman's going to hang on to the lead for now. But Cody Terlendi's looking quick.
Yeah, he's worked his way up quite a bit here.
In that first run, he had fallen all the way back to the 11th place spot. Everybody just came down pit road, and he's been on a march to the front since then. Did not look good in that first stint, but my goodness, he has flown through the pack all the way to the back bumper of our race leader. Trying to cut down, trying to get a little bit of clean air coming out of turn number 4. That's going to hurt the tires a little bit cutting down like that. But he's just trying to get some type of run on the 95 in front of him, trying to take that race lead away.
I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, though. Roman is he's stacking tough right now.
Oh, it's tight.
Oh.
I thought that was going to be contact and potentially Nicholas Roman going around off the front bumper of Cody there. But Terlendi did a good job keeping it off of him, and we stay green. They stay racing up for the race lead coming through turn 3 and 4. Roman doing a nice job hanging on to the lead, but man, that lead car is just a parachute, man. The draft down the front straightaway for Terlendi, even if he doesn't have the greatest 3 and 4, all the way down the front stretch, just able to use the draft, able to suck right back up to the back bumper of Nicholas Roman, and almost use the wall to turn off of the corner coming out of turn 2 to try to build a run. Just wasn't really quite able to do it.
No, this is going to be a hard pass for Terlendi if he can get down there to him. Because, I mean, this place is hard to pass to begin with, and the closer you get to the front of the pack, the harder it is to move forward. Because all these guys up here are they're phenomenal at what they're doing.
Yeah, you're dead right about that. Nicholas Roman, the one car in the race, running up in the race lead, but they're side by side once again. Terlendi this time has the side draft on Nicholas Roman down the back straightaway. Able to pull just about even before we get down into turn 3. Cody drives it in deep down into the corner. Roman matches him, tries to get down onto his door through the center of the corner. The 84 just gets a tad loose, and Roman, second verse, same as the first, looks the exact same as it did about 5 or so laps ago whenever they got side by side through the same corner. Roman just with a little bit of a door hug through the center of the corner. Just about sucks the 84 around and prevents Cody from getting that race lead away from him. Most everybody is cycled up to the top side of the racetrack. Still a couple tire savers down on the bottom, a couple in the top 5 as well. But a lot of these guys fifth on back to 10th, all riding that outside groove, trying to find some time. Justin Levine's worked his way up to the 5th place position from the 27th place starting spot. Great run for Levine in that Ryco Performance GridVision car. Very, very beautiful. Love seeing GridVision on the side of that thing. He's worked himself up into the top 5. Great run from Justin so far as they're side by side behind him. Alex Murray didn't pin under that last pit stop, and he's hung on pretty strong in the 7th place spot.
Yeah, I talked to Levine earlier today, and he said he's really confident what he's got. He says that he thinks that there's a possibility that he could win this thing, so that could be interesting to follow as we proceed later into this thing. But he's got a charge coming to the inside from the 15 of Clayton Hoffman. I don't think he's not going to quite get it done here, but they're going to go side by side down the back straightaway. I think Hoffman's going to follow in back behind him, try to build a runoff. No, he's going to stay to the bottom. He's going to try and slide him here. I need to quit. Swallow my tongue halfway through this.
I'm just happy I have found something to make fun of you on race 1. This is great.
It's great, dude. It's great.
Oh man,
I hate this track.
How many times can he be wrong? We need a show wrong counter on the bottom of the racetrack.
It looks like Hoffman's going to get him cleared out of 2.
Oh,
hey, there we go. 1 for 3, man.
Hey, that was pretty close. I thought you were about to be wrong.
I got it.
Oh,
I got to say something. They just wrecked themselves out, you know.
Well, let's hope that you're wrong about that one. I would like for this one to stay green a little bit. But, yeah, to your point, Hoffman doing a great job moving up since the restart, up to the 5th place spot now, relegating Levine back to the 6th place position. And our top 4 has really separated themselves from everybody else. I'd maybe be a little bit worried that a couple of these guys have been running a little hard, but Jacob Schneider and Paul Bergoli have been running the bottom side of the racetrack for just about this entire run. You got to think that their tires are probably A-OK. Cody Terlindi, who worked from, 10th or so on the restart, maybe 15th. I got to think his are hurting the most or will hurt the most here shortly. And Vroman, because he's had to defend so heavy from Cody, has probably used his more than he cares or more than he would have liked to. But I got to think that he's still probably okay. Probably won't fall back further than 3rd on this run until we put on tires. But my goodness, Terlindi is just relentless. But that's
loose.
it. That's it right there. Super loose from Terlindi. We're talking about maybe his tires hurting. Crazy sideways out of turn number 2, able to save it, but he drops back to the 4th place spot.
That was a heck of a save there. That thing should have came around on him.
We've seen a couple of really good saves out of a couple of drivers tonight. We saw Tommy Gossett earlier making a great save. I know Will Height went hard to the outside wall, but the wreck that should have been bigger between those guys, ended up being relatively minor. A couple of good saves from a couple of guys in that accident. And then there, Cody Terlindi trying to make the move for the race lead. Just sliding the tires a little bit too much there to be able to get it done. And I'd be really worried about Cody here on out in this run. After that slide, that's a pretty massive slide. And you lost about a 1.5 seconds on the racetrack. So that's gonna hurt Cody in the long run.
Yeah, we'll say the last lap, Vroman was about a 1/10 slower than Schneider in 2nd. And just a little bit better than Bergoli in 3rd. So it does look like them tires are starting to sneak away from him here as we get later into it.
Yeah, he just tried to push a little bit too hard. Oh, I say try to push. He was holding on to the race lead, trying to defend that clean air. But Terlindi made him push a little bit harder than I think Nicholas Vroman wanted to push in this segment. No, I don't think we can make it to the end from that last pit stop. They pitted about lap 50, a lot of these guys. And we went green on 52. So if we split that halfway, you got to make it to about 85, right? To be able to split it just about evenly. 85, 90 should be the pit range, I believe. Probably 90.
I will say keep your eyes on Hoffman here right now. He's about 2/10 up on everybody in front of him. He just ran on 1.
Flying.
Everybody else is out here running 3s and 4s.
Whew. Yeah, Hoffman did a great job saving those tires and holding on to track position at the same time. Levine might have hurt his tires a little bit. He's starting to backslide a little bit. Jimmy Molis picking him off. Thomas Hazard looking pretty quick behind him as well, trying to pick up the spot from Levine. And Levine's got a little bit of cosmetic right front damage. I don't think it's anything serious, but you never know. If you see a little bit of scuffs on the right front, there could be a little bit of wheel damage that's hiding.
Damage at this place is pretty much a death sentence. Because you got so much time on throttle here, and aero is everything at this track. Like last week at Dover, we could get away with it, but you can't get away with it here.
Brandon Bikey looking to the inside of the 92 of Matheson. Able to get that spot picked up. Not Jimmy. What in the world? He's going to hate me for that. Joseph Kazi right behind them, trying to work up to the back bumper of those two as they're still side by side, Bikey and Matheson. This time down into turns 1 and 2. Bikey had a pretty good entry, but he missed the bottom. I don't know if he's going to be able to complete the slide. He does, but he puts himself in the fence. Brandon Bikey over the nose of Matheson. Late move coming out of turn number 2. Opens the doors for Joseph Kazi on the bottom side of the racetrack after that just killed the momentum of the 1.
Oh, we got the wrecking.
Brandon Bikey around, a couple guys going through the grass to avoid the wreck. A couple of terrible corners there for Brandon Bikey. Going to get a replay to see exactly what happened. Unfortunately, I was not looking at the mainstream. I was looking at my own iRacing, so
Yeah.
I'm glad you caught that.
It looks like he got loose, and he just got into the side of the 88, and around she went.
Getting a look at this one through turns 3 and 4. Joseph Kazi on the inside. Bikey, yeah, getting a little sideways, coming off the top of the racetrack, came down. Got the right rear of Kazi. You expect to have, I don't know, about a lane and a half coming off if you're on the bottom side of the racetrack. At least, you give about a lane and a half to the car on the outside. There, Bikey used a lot more than a lane and a half. Came off the wall coming out of turn number 2 and just didn't use all the racetrack. And the guy on the bottom's always going to expect you to go up to the wall, especially here on top split. So I think Bikey just running a little hard there. And unfortunately, a couple of guys getting damage, including Bikey, Matheson with heavy left front damage. But that is going to open up the pit cycle to where we can likely make it to the end. We can definitely make it to the end. 50 laps to the end. These guys are going to be good to go. So we should see a relatively short run compared to, I don't know, what we were expecting at one point. I was thinking we were going to get a long 100-lap green flag run at some point here tonight, but looks like we're not going to have that. But as everybody comes down to pit road, we're going to take our final commercial break of the racing action. Whenever we come back, we're going to have this thing to the checkered flag. Be sure to stay with us. Welcome back to the finish of the Ryco Performance Friday night NiS Top Split. We got the next 50 laps coming at you to the checkered flag uninterrupted. Nicholas Roman on the front row with his teammate Jacob Schneider on the outside, coming down to the green flag. Going to take lap number 86, working into the restart zone, and Nicholas Roman first to the gas, first down to the apron, and Roman easily up to the race lead without a challenge. Easily going to be able to get down to turn number 1 without any type of challenge, but it's all about coming down to turn 3. Does somebody get a good bump draft down the back straightaway? And can somebody get a good run coming off of turn number 2 to potentially challenge them coming down into turn number 3? 3 wide further back. Joseph Kazi stuck in the middle. A couple battles that are kind of forming into 3 wide action. Back further back. Kazi stuck in the middle still through 3 and 4 with Derek Heitman on his inside. Wow, he really squeezes Heitman down to the bottom of the racetrack. That ain't contact. Both of them end up making it on the outside or on the other side of turn 4. Okay, but that could have been huge mid-pack. Almost had a car sent sideways.
Nobody's trying to save anything at this point, it looks like. These guys are
I think that's a mistake.
beating the tar out of each other.
I think that's a mistake. I think you still got to save. I mean, a 50-lap run is still pretty long.
Oh, no, you absolutely. But everybody's, confident in what they got now. They know these cars are pretty well slotted in the track. They know the limits. Everybody's just trying to get the most they can out of it.
Levine 3 wide down on the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to take a couple positions. That's JR Borborema in the middle. Tommy Gossett on the outside. Alex Murray right in front of them, just trying to defend from the 3 guys behind him side by side. They file out to a 2-wide situation. Murray protects the bottom side of the racetrack, just trying to save tires as Tommy Gossett gets to his outside.
Oh, man, those the 21 and the 84 just about wiped it coming through 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, Hazard to the outside of Zach Rinker, trying to make that position up. A little bit further back, Gossett still side by side with Murray, and Terlindi trying to work back up towards the front of the field after his little incident earlier. Thomas Hazard to the inside a little bit further up of Edward Schur Jr. Man, a lot of 2-wide action. It's almost hard to keep track of what's all going on these restarts.
And Terlindi right now is just cooking it up on the top.
Well, this is the weird one, right? Like, if you've got an extra tire set left, I don't necessarily blame some of these guys for trying to rip the top and try to pick up as many spots as possible, because we've seen caution flags tonight. We've seen a lot of yellows. But if it runs green, they're going to be absolutely screwed. It's just, I don't know, if we get a caution in 20 or so laps and they picked up 10 spots, they're going to look like geniuses.
I mean, well, based on the average, too. Like, we've been getting, cautions every, 20 to 30, so... I mean, what's the point in saving right now? There's most likely going to be one at the end of this stint.
Oh, contact for second. Jacob Schneider shoves Jimmy Mullis up the racetrack, and they're still side by side, getting down into turn 1 and 2. Schneider hits the apron. He slides across the nose of Jimmy Mullis, and is that Thomas Hazard on the outside trying to get past for a second? He couldn't quite do it. Schneider through the block coming out of turn number 2. Hazard has to cycle through or settle for the 3rd place spot side by side with Jimmy Mullis. A lot of stutters tonight in the broadcast booth. I apologize for that. But Jacob Schneider able to hold on to the 2nd place spot. And Thomas Hazard, I mean, look at the 34 car in the split, starting in the 35th place spot up to the 3rd place position, side by side with the pro driver of Jimmy Mullis.
That's almost unbelievable. It was not like that back in the day. This is awesome.
Man, a little bit further back in the pack, they are racing super, super hard. Brad Newman is in a tight 3-wide situation. Able to cycle it back down to 2 wide before they get down into turn 3 and 4. Joseph Kazi thought better, just backed out. But right in front of him, they're 3 wide again. Brandon Himmel to the inside of Dalton Collins. Oh, he thinks better of it as well. See, there's a little bit of still race preservation going on. Not a lot, but there's still a little bit of lifting for other people. But again, Johnny Baldridge takes it 3 wide through the middle of Brad Newman. And Himmel, and Baldridge really pushes up to the outside. They make contact. Himmel in the wall. Newman squeezing Baldridge to the outside of the racetrack as they're 3 wide still, coming down into turn 3. This might be too many cars under a blanket. Oh, and Brad Newman tags the apron as he gets a good bit of dirty air, almost hits Baldridge. Oh, and Garcia gets up into Kazi, who gets into Hollabaugh, but we're all still straight.
There was like 6 wrecks that just happened there.
I swear.
In 1 quarter. Like, can we pause for a second? God.
I thought somebody was dying. I can't believe nobody's in the outside wall.
And it was a domino effect all the way through.
Oh my goodness. I thought that was going to be huge. I really, really thought that was going to be massive. But, I mean, it's still not over. They're still 3 wide in front. Dalton Collins! Oh my goodness. I thought that Tommy Gossett was about to squeeze him into his Ryco teammate there on the outside. Luckily, they're able to stay okay. Actually, I don't know if Collins is on Ryco. I don't know what I'm saying with that. But they made more contact. He squeezes Himmel coming down into turn 1 and 2. They're still 3 wide. Himmel able to cycle it out to 2 wide coming out of the corner. But a lot of 2x2 coming down the back straightaway.
And a big push coming into turn 3 for the 40. Oh, he's sending it.
Well, and I'm getting news that Thomas Hazard is actually a 2-time Peak Series winner and was 3rd in the Peak Series points in 2011. So that puts it into perspective why he's side by side with another pro, by the way.
Yeah, we had somebody get spun coming out of 4 there. On that.
Channing Ballou went sideways coming out of turn number 4. Going to get a little replay of what happened to that. I'm not really too surprised, though. I mean, it's just been such hard racing around the Levine, Baldridge, Kazi area. There's Kazi getting hit. Coming down to turn 3. by Brandon Edstrom, and then Baloo gets sent around by Richard Garcia. Great save. I mean, that should have been a wrecked race car. There should have been about 20 wrecked race cars in the last 10 laps, and we've seen 0.
Top split, man. These guys know what they're doing.
I almost feel like I'm slighted. I feel like I should see a massive accident and the voice chats light up with rage, but I'm just not getting it.
Look, I want to see one car in the catch fronts tonight.
Oh, Baldridge just about hit the wall out of turn number 4 a little bit further back. I mean, they're just racing hard everywhere. Up towards the front of the field, Jimmy Mullis and Jacob Schneider again make contact, entering turn number 1. Everybody's fighting over the same bit of real estate everywhere on the racetrack. Nobody is content with running in their own groove. I mean, there are 3 distinct lanes on this racetrack, and everybody, whenever they're side by side in every single corner, seems to be fighting for the same lane and a half. I feel like I need a moment just to catch my breath. I mean, my goodness, they're still side by side entering turn 1, Schneider and Mullis, this time actually giving each other a little bit of room, so shouldn't see any contact, but I say that, we might have the Sheldon jinx, and Mullis might slide up into the outside. Oh. Just about did on Hazard, but Hazard made sure that there was a little bit of a gap there. Mullis slid up into it right behind Schneider, and now looks back to the bottom of Jacob Schneider entering turn 3 and 4. A little bit further back, though, Brad Newman to the inside of Dalton Collins. They're still racing hard back here for about the 20th place spot. Doesn't matter where you're at on the racetrack. There's a good battle going on.
And on the inside here comes Jacob Schneider, trying to build a little bit of a run to get by the leader of Nick Vroman. Don't think he's going to do it. Nope. I spoke too soon. I thought he was going to build a run. I was wrong.
Hey, man, it's hard to build a run in these next-gen cars. There's no engine power. They're neutered.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
I mean, it's like it's like you've been castrated, or it's like the engine's been castrated. Like, I mean, it's sad.
I thought the 550 package was bad.
well, this puts on entertaining racing. It's just you can't get the run sometimes. Sometimes you got to get a bump from somebody, and if you get side by side like Schneider and Mullis are, the side draft is massive, man. It can really pull you off the race leader, and Vroman able to stretch out his gap, coming down into turn number 3, all the way down the back straightaway.
Oh, they're going to be tight coming off. Oh, man. That old 2. He about knocked the fence down coming out of 4. These guys are getting tied up here.
The only guy that's happy about this is Nicholas Vroman, right? They're racing so hard for second that Vroman's able to just kind of run his own pace up in the race lead. Just run fast enough to stay ahead of Schneider and Mullis. And whenever they're battling so hard behind him, I think that's great for Vroman, right? He's going to be able to save his tires just a little bit better. And now everybody's been running hard, and it's been so hard to pass that track position is going to be massive on the old tires. But what's even bigger, if you've got the lead and you've saved tires better than anybody else, I mean, you're definitely not getting past him. With them battling like this, Jimmy Mullis still to the inside of Schneider. I mean, Vroman's got to be smiling ear to ear.
Oh, absolutely. He's got the clean air. He hasn't had to worry about racing anybody really since we, threw the flag.
Dalton Collins got the fence out of turn number 2, I do believe. Still able to hold on to his position here right behind Brad Newman. Just trying not to compound errors. Coming out of turn number 4 this time. Able to hang on to it a little bit further back up towards the front of the pack. Schneider able to clear Mullis this time and just cuts right across the front of Jimmy Mullis down to turn 1 and 2, giving him a lot of dirty air through that entire corner. And now Mullis is stuck on the inside. Thomas Hazard goes by. Cody Terlindi back once again up into the top 5. Also goes by on the outside, but now they're stuck in a side-by-side battle through 3 and 4.
No, it looks like Hazard just caught the fence a little bit there in 1 and 2.
Oh, could it be 3 wide?
Coming down turn 2. Oh, a little bit of contact.
Terlindi was able to find that hole, though. He got back up to the top side of the racetrack. That was a smart move from Terlindi, just holding on to that outside groove, keeping the progressive banking under him all the way to the outside. He's going to get side drafted from Jimmy Mullis down the front straightaway, but he had such a good run coming off of turn number 4. He's going to get that spot. Cody Terlindi up to 4th over Jimmy Mullis.
I just thought we were going to watch a wreck coming out, too, there, that last lap. These
I
guys
feel like there should have been 50
hard.
wrecks.
God,
I mean, it's been ridiculous.
This is impressive.
Brad Newman tagged the wall coming out of turn number 2 as well. Doesn't look to be too much damage on that number 26, so should be okay to continue. Looking on the outside of the racetrack, I think that's Alex Murray to his inside, trying to pick up a couple positions. They're in a side-by-side battle for the 14th place spot. Murray looking at the inside of Newman down into turn number 1. Tommy Gossett a little bit ahead of Newman, and it kind of turns into a side-by-side battle with Murray and Gossett, but Murray does not get the run out of the corner, and he has to fall back to Brad Newman. Actually fall all the way behind Brad Newman before they get down to the turn number 3.
Now, I do want to highlight Tommy Gossett here for a second. After the, he had that real bad incident at the start of the race, and honestly, he's kept his head on his shoulders. He's gotten through it. He's working his way forward. It's pretty impressive when you get behind the 8 ball in these races. It's hard to come back sometimes, and he's done a good job of it.
Yeah, Tommy is definitely one of those guys that gets pretty angry with situations like that. And whenever you get angry like that, it is very, very hard to kind of level your head and get back in the game. I say that from experience. I'm about the same way. If you've ever listened to me in a voice chat in a race, you would know I might be the biggest complainer on the iRacing service. They call me the virtual Martin Truex. But Tommy Gossett, Tommy might be a little bit worse than me, but he's done a great job here tonight, working himself up side by side for the 12th place spot after that early spin. I mean, that's a good recovery drive from Gossett so far.
Yeah, it's impressive, man. It's hard to do that sometimes, especially in a split like this. Like, these guys out here, they're not playing around. These guys are really driving the wheels off these things every lap. Good job there. I heard that pause. Oh, Alex Murray with a major slider through 3 and 4, able to pick off that position. That was hefty through 3 and 4. I don't know if we caught that on the broadcast, but on my own end, Murray just drove it into turn 3 and 4 like Carl Edwards back in like 2011, whenever he just clobbered the fence and ended up losing out on the spot. We're going to get a replay here of Murray just diving it down to the turn number 3. It ended up being a pretty hefty move. Gosh, man, I hate seeing that back bumper. It's really throwing me off. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. I mean, it looks like he hit the gas in the middle of the... He did. He absolutely hit the gas in the middle of the corner and drove up to the outside of the racetrack. Good move from Murray. Nicholas Roman still holding on to that race lead. He's led since the green flag came back out after those pit stops. Over Jacob Schneider, over Cody Terlindi. I got to say, I'm still mightily impressed with Cody Terlindi that he's worked himself back up into the top 5 multiple times tonight. He's lost the track position, and every time that he's lost it, he's got it back. It's weird. You would think that he'd just be able to hold on to it or something, but he's had a little bit of adversity to deal with today, and he's done a great job working his way back up into the top 3. Right behind him, 4th place on back, Jimmy Mullis, Thomas Hazard, J.R. Borborema, Zach Rinker, Edward Shore Jr., we already said Zach Rinker. They're all under a blanket. I mean, they're all fighting hard for this 4th place spot. Oh yeah, Jimmy Mullis all but lost it there coming out too in front of Rinkler. I'm getting the names. We're getting there. You literally didn't get his name. It's Rinker. Whoops. 1 for 4. Yeah. Damn. 1 and 4. That's 4 L taken tonight and 1 W. H10 race is a lot worse. I imagine considering you falling all the way down to 2K. Oh, I love deprecation. That'll get me louder than anything. 20 laps to go. Well, 21 laps to go this time by as we're working lap 100. Well, 20. Yeah, now it's switched over. 21 laps to go. Working lap 114 of 134. Zach Rinker trying to look to the inside. Still tight battling from a lot of these guys. Whoa, Borborema tagged the wall out of turn number 2. Ends up opening the door down to the inside. Edward Shore Jr. trying to slide Jimmy Mullis into 3. Not able to do it. Still able to hold that middle groove of the racetrack over Clayton Hoffman. But we remember on that last run, Clayton Hoffman was unbelievable at the end of the run. Did Hoffman save his tires in the same way, and is he going to fly towards the front of the field? I'm just watching this battle right now for 8th. You're more of a spectator. Apparently. I couldn't find Hoffman on my thing. Oh, that's fair enough. But right. I got to point out, I don't know exactly when Mullis got this, but he's got some pretty hefty right front damage. That thing is crinkled on the right front. Looking to the outside of Borborema.
Not slowing him down too much. Oh, contact! Barbarema came off the apron pretty aggressively. Mullis was side drafting him, and Mullis all the way to the outside of racetrack, really letting the right rear hang out, trying to take the spot from Barbarema, and he's going to do it. But I got to think that right front damage is hurting the 4-car.
No, we got more contact here. Barbarema and Scherer just made a little bit of contact going into 3. Just a little quarter panel tap there. And Mullis is just, that thing looks evil right now.
It's the right front damage, man. I'm telling you, if we could get a look at his hood, it is bad. It's pretty bad on the right front. I mean, it is crinkled. If we can get like a rear view of it, it is. Yeah, I mean, you can see there's a good crack in that in a couple different areas. The hood is completely separated from the bumper, and Edward Shore Jr. has used it to his advantage. He's gotten around the outside and moved himself up into the 6th place spot. Ed's doing a great job working towards the front of the pack.
Yeah, it looks like Hoffman's coming back here. I'm pretty sure he saved some tires there in that run. It seems like his method.
And he is really quick right now, right? He's all over the back bumper of Jimmy Mullis, trying to get the 7th place spot now. I mean, excuse me, I think Hoffman, just like you said, I think it's just a strategy. He saves tires heavy at the beginning of the run and ends up finding himself with a ton of speed late. Looking to the inside of Mullis here into 3 and 4. Mullis with that right front damage, really struggling, just trying to hang on for everything he's got, but he's going to lose out. I'm just about to tag the wall out of 4.
No, he tagged it there. And we got a yellow.
Oh. Richard Garcia, once again, through turns 3 and 4. Gonna get a look at what happened. Actually, it started coming out of turn 2. He was 3 wide with Levine and Patrick Moose. And Garcia side drafted Patrick Moose a little bit too hard on the outside of the racetrack. He came down and collected Levine. Everybody did a good job not hitting the fence, but okay, well, Garcia came back on the racetrack and, well, it's not the most efficient way to come back on the racetrack. Channing Ballou had to make some evasive maneuvers to avoid that one. We need to get a little bit further back coming out of turn number 2, see exactly what happened to kick off that caution. It just looked like Garcia on the outside of Shane Van Gisbergen. This is going to be a lap earlier, I believe. It ended up being a lap later than this. He was side by side with Patrick Moose, the 38 in front of him, and Justin Levine behind him. So I think Gisbergen had gotten ahead of these guys, and they ended up being 3 wide coming out of turn number 2. Well, it might be the lap after this. we went a little ways back on this one. Here we go. Richard Garcia is to the inside of Patrick Moose. Justin Levine on the very, very inside. Close between all of them, but Garcia definitely came up the racetrack, got into the left rear quarter panel of Moose. Ends up having a bad save, or, well, I say bad save because he came back on the racetrack in a pretty crazy manner. Levine should have absolutely destroyed his race car. I don't know if we can get a view of him saving it on the bottom side of the racetrack, but he did a great 360 flick spin as he's spinning the opposite direction to save that and kept that thing off the wall. So good job from Levine, just kind of saving his race, but that does cost a lot of these guys a ton of positions, or a couple of these guys, Garcia and Levine in particular. Going to look at Levine this time. Just watch him come down the inside wall. You would think that he would absolutely be dead, right? Look at that angle. You should be done for. Cranks that thing to the right, stays in the gas, flips that thing around. And luckily he lives to fight another day. Definitely going to have to put on 4 fresh tires. And of course that costs him a lot of track position, but he'll be able to at least stay on the racetrack, and we'll be able to see what he can do. Vroman was starting to hurt on those tires, though. Schneider was starting to catch him, and I think that this might have come at a perfect time for Nicholas Vroman.
Oh, absolutely. I think they were just about done up there at the front. Those guys back there behind them are starting to click off lap times a little bit better and start to reel them in. I think they wanted to come in and get some tires. I know Mullis is probably rubbing his lucky penny after that one because he needed a caution bad as bad as that thing was kicking out on him in every turn.
Yeah, he didn't get the damage fixed, which doesn't surprise me because typically on newer tires it can kind of mitigate the damage feel, right? I feel like whenever you have enough mechanical grip, enough tire to asphalt grip without the effects of aero, I feel like it can kind of mitigate those aerodynamic disadvantages that you might have from some right front damage like that. It's just once the tires really start wearing out, you really start feeling it. So I think Jimmy Mullis might be able to at least make something of this, but he's going to be starting in the 13th place spot. Even with the damage, I don't see him making up too many positions, or at least even with the new tires, I don't see him making up too many positions because the damage is still there. I think you can maintain with damage on new tires. I don't know. I don't think he can, drive himself up into the top 5, maybe top 10, but top 5 is going to be a tall ask. Got to point out Tommy Gossett up into the top 10 after his early spin. Cody Terlindi is, like we mentioned, recovered up to the 3rd place spot, and everybody on the newer tires now. We were talking about tire saving all night. Well, that's out the window. There's not going to be any saving. We're going to be seeing some crazy sliders, and a lot of people committed to the outside of the racetrack, I got to assume.
Oh, yeah. No, we've got about, what, a 10, 11 lap shootout here?
12.
12. Bring that tally back up again.
Well, it's still better than Brian Britt math. South Carolina math doesn't do you very good. But coming to the green flag, 12 laps to go. Nicholas Roman brings us down to the green flag. This is it. No more tire saving. Who's it going to be over the last 12 laps?
Well, right now, my bet's on Roman.
Oh, 4 wide further back. We might not have a green flag run to the end. They might wreck before we get out of this big battle pack back here on the restart. Alex Murray on the bottom, 3 wide. Van Gisbergen a little bit further back, trying to make it 3 wide as well. The 4 wide has kind of settled itself out, but I mean, I say that. There's still 3 wide all throughout the pack. DeCiani's around in the back of the pack. Johnny Baldridge involved. Channing Ballou through the grass on the infield, and the caution flag flies.
Cautions breed cautions. We're late in this thing, man. It's going to be happening a lot here. Got a good feeling. I'm hoping I jinxed it there.
Would you breed cautions with me?
Hey, yo, pause.
Pause, no diddy. Ends up being 4 wide, really, though. Brandon Edstrom kind of dives down to the bottom of Johnny Baldridge, makes some contact. Mac DeCiani ends up getting sent around. Ends up being a tough break for a couple of those guys, losing some track position. But I feel like every wreck that has happened today should have been about 1,000,000 times bigger than it ends up being. I mean, what's up with the everybody's doing a good job getting around it, but like I feel like every one of these, everybody's escaping big hits. I would have expected a lot more big hits tonight.
The only thing I can attribute to is you just got a wide groove, wide track, and like Dover, this place is pretty self-cleaning. Once you get down and spun out in the corner, it's going to pull you back down to the apron. Unless you get right hooked, then, well, you're done.
A couple of those guys that got caught up in that incident coming down pit road. Is that Shane Van Gisbergen stopped on the entry to pit road? Not quite sure what SVG is doing all the way back there.
He's cooling his tires.
He's stopping to eat a biggie bag, maybe. Either way, we're going to use this opportunity to kind of shout out our race sponsor one more time before we get down to the end of this thing with 2 of their cars running at the front of the field. That's obviously going to be Ryco Performance. At Ryco Performance, we're more than a setup shop. Well, I completely screwed that up, so give me another go on that one. At Ryco Performance, we're more than a setup shop. We're a performance provider, preparing you weekly with data and setups to get you ahead of the curve of the competition. Whether you're a seasoned sim racer or a weekend warrior, our cutting-edge data packs and one-on-one coaching sessions are tailor-made to push the limits of yourself and your virtual race car, giving you the winning edge that you crave. Why should you choose Ryco? We got expert craftsmanship by a team of seasoned builders, cutting-edge performance enhancements tailored to your vehicle, and unrivaled coaching and reliability to handle the most demanding circuits on the iRacing platform. For more information, visit us at ryco-motorsports.com, where we build champions and deliver results. Big thanks once again to Ryco Performance for tonight, being able to put on this show. I love coming out and calling the NiS races. I'm telling you, this is a highlight of my week. I love coming out here and getting to watch virtual race cars go around a racetrack. I know that sounds like it should be sarcastic, but I swear it's not. I just love racing. And to be able to come out here and call this week in, week out, whether it be on Monday night or Friday nights, I mean, it's a pleasure. It's a privilege. Absolutely love getting to do it. And this time, alongside a old pal of mine, Sheldon Atkins. Crazy to get you up into the booth after we raced so much together years ago. So it's awesome to have Sheldon back up here and shouting out his first race ever. So big congrats to Sheldon for making it out tonight. And I can't wait to see you blossom into the broadcasting role here.
Oh, dude, I'm honestly grateful to be here. You know, it's like one sim never died.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, but no, it's good to
we're
be
making
here.
2 sim right here in the booth.
It's crazy how it's all come full circle too. From the amount of chaos we used to rain on here and voice lobbies and Talladega sessions allegedly, and
yeah, there's totally not a YouTube video out there of me and Sheldon running a Carb Cup race plastered. Don't search for it. There's totally not on the YouTube. It's totally not on YouTube somewhere.
No, we would never drink an iRacing.
Yeah, we've never done that. For a Carb Cup, no. That's too important. Carb Cups from Daytona are too important.
Amazing.
Anyway, we're coming back down to the green flag, hopefully for the last time tonight. Nicholas Roman at the front here. Jacob Schneider, his teammate, on the outside. Did not get a good jump. Ends up just having to get a push from Cody. Roman once again on the inside groove, getting a good jump. And Zach Rinker got a pretty good jump from the third place spot, too. Edward Scher Jr. also followed him through for the third place as they're side by side. Team Conti on the bottom, Ryco Performance on the outside. Jacob Schneider just trying to hold on. He had the disadvantage on the restart starting on the outside. Oh, but they're wrecking huge behind him.
Crash.
Finally, the big wreck. It's everybody back in the back half of the pack. Just about. A lot of guys go
SVG got
scattering.
on that one.
Oh, super late. Matt Hollabaugh comes back up the racetrack and absolutely destroys Maggie McGuire up into turn 3. I think he had completely lost his steering and just destroyed Maggie on the outside of the racetrack. SVG got caught up in it, like Sheldon said. Whew. Well, I said I would hope it was going to be the last green flag of the night, but coming out of turn number 2 on these restarts, everybody just gets stacked up. It's going to be 4 wide coming out of that corner every time here on out, so it'll be a miracle if we get out of that corner. And here it is again, 4 wide. Brad Newman on the inside, Himmel on the very, very outside, Borborema 1 lane down. Okay, well, that was about the biggest netcode I've ever seen in my life between Kazi and Borborema. I mean, what in the world? It looked like Borborema lost a left rear tire.
It's so easy to get caught up in stuff coming out too here.
Well, especially if we're going to have a football field and a half a netcode.
Oh, yeah.
Look between the 88 and the 21. Oh, my gosh. I mean, like, it wasn't even... They were not even close.
It's like, look like somebody shot his tire out, man.
I'm telling you. I mean, you remember in the first year of the next gen, everybody was running super low left rear tire pressures in real life, and left rears were just blowing out. That looked just like that. I mean, just look at the, we'll see it on the top left of your screen. The 21 gets sent around. Levine does a good job getting through this. Maggie McGuire gets caught up late. Couldn't quite see the initial not contact, but just look. McGuire's got this missed.
Well.
Look at this. McGuire's got it missed. Oh, my.
Oh.
Matt's steering just had to be done, right? Like, there's no way.
No
Hollabaugh's
way.
a good racer. He's not a guy that's going to turn hard right across the field and destroy the field. So I got to think that, well, I mean, he's able to get it right into the left. I'm confused.
Can we see it after, like, after the wreck? Like, when he's driving to pit road?
Well, yeah, we can definitely stay on board here. We got a little bit of time left in the caution. I'm just...
Yeah, he's... No.
Well...
I don't...
That was a weird one. I don't know. I don't really understand. I'm very lost for words on that one. I've got a lot of respect for Matt, so I'm going to assume something went wrong, to be honest with you. I think he's a good racer, and I've never seen him do anything egregious. So I'm going to give Hollabaugh the benefit of the doubt on that one. I don't typically give people the benefit of the doubt, so you got to I've got to have a lot of respect for you if I'm going to do that. So I'm going to give that for Matt here tonight. I don't think that was intentional.
Situational awareness.
What, it almost looked like a monitor turned off or something, right? Like, I mean, he tried looking, or it looked like he was trying to keep it straight, but I digress. That was a weird one. I'll have to try to get in touch with Matt after this to see exactly what happened.
It's beautiful weather. Beautiful weather here in KC.
I like that. Obviously concussed. That's a good one, Wolfie. That's a good chance. Maybe if he's like, have you ever seen the TikToks of and I don't have TikTok, but I see him on Instagram Reels like 3 weeks late. Have you ever seen TikToks of the guy on Beam MG? Is that what it's called? Beam MG? Where he like acts out the wrecks? Maybe Hollabaugh just slammed his head against the wheel whenever he made the first contact and gave himself a concussion. Okay, that might be giving him a little bit too much benefit of the doubt, but who knows?
Yeah, and those motion rigs can get pretty dicey, you know. He might have one.
Maybe.
This is why you always wear a helmet when you race, guys. I do it every day.
Ryco Performance. Ryco Performance takes up the first 2 rows on the inside. Team Conti, first 2 on the outside. Nicholas Roman stops the gas pedal, gives a call out to Schneider there. Schneider gets a great restart. Whenever you got a teammate right behind you like that and you're fighting a different team on the outside, you're going to help out your team any way you can, and it has helped them big time as Cody Terlindi. Oh, they're wrecking behind once again. Shane Van Gisbergen around. Brad Newman around. Justin Levine is in it in the bottom side of the racetrack. I think Joseph Kazi got a little bit of, may have gotten a little bit of contact as well. everybody ends up getting it straightened out again decently fast. I'm confused. A couple people with bigger incidents there, but I still feel like these should be massive.
That's such a shame. Newman ran such a good race, too.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, just I gotta say, Moose maybe just moved up a little bit too much whenever they were 3 wide.
I mean, it's so easy to do that, though, at this stage in the race, because at this point, you're not focusing on what's behind you. The only thing that you care about is what is out that window. And it's such an easy spot to end yourself in.
You're definitely right. I gotta say, that was great teamwork by the Ryco guys, just getting the good restart, making sure Schneider could get through. And a little bit further back, it's just these restarts, man, especially because you utilize the apron and then everybody comes back onto it. The iRacing spotter's a little slow on restarts. It all adds up. It's a bunch of little things that kind of add into it. I've talked about this in leagues that I call a lot of times where people make it 4 wide at a super speedway. While I'm all for it, you gotta understand you're taking a big risk because the iRacing spotter doesn't say 4 wide. Obviously, that wasn't a 4 wide situation, but the iRacing spotter is pretty slow on restarts a lot of times. And like I said, with people coming down onto the apron and back up onto the racetrack, it just leaves a lot of room for miscalculation, I suppose, with not having a live spotter. And I think that potentially could have been part of the issue there heading down into turn number 1 on the restart.
Yeah, but I mean, we're on a green-white checkered here at Kansas. Top split, NiS. You're going for it at this point.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. I'm hoping we don't get 3 more restarts, though. I would like for us to take the white flag.
Yeah, it would be great. I think Vroman would like for us to take the white flag, too.
Well, I don't know. Vroman might like for this thing to have 3 cautions right off of turn 2 because look, as the leader, you are guaranteed to get the jump here, right? You're guaranteed it on the iRacing service. You're going to get the jump unless the outside guy just takes a stab at it and hits the gas and risks the black flag. With it being his teammate on the outside, I don't see that happening. But the leader's going to have a big run coming down to turns 1 and 2. His danger spot is entering turn 3, I think, on the first lap. If the second and third place guy play nice with each other and get hooked up, they can get a big run coming out of turn number 2 using the draft from the 95, and that second place car can get slingshotted right by him. So I think that Vroman's best bet, honestly, is for 3 straight cautions. Now, I think he's probably going to be okay either way, but I think that his big trouble spot is going to be entering turn number 3 on the first lap of a restart.
I mean, he is in good company. He's got teammates around him, so I mean, I don't imagine that means a whole lot this late at this stage, though. He's put on a heck of a race, though, that's for sure.
I would just hate to see him lose it in very unfortunate ways back-to-back, right? He lost the Monday night top split from having to pit on a green-white checkered, and 10 guys stayed out, and the caution came out immediately. I would hate it for Vroman if something equally as dumb kind of happened to him tonight. It was a very frustrating Monday night for him. It would be a big kind of redemption journey, I would say, if he wins tonight in the NiS. Obviously, a much bigger win than a open Monday night top split would be. At least in my mind, I think NiS would be the kind of crowning achievement of the week. So hopefully for Vroman here, he can get this thing done. But we're taking the first green-white checkered. Is Vroman going to win it, or is he going to get screwed over back-to-back here on the Ryco Performance top split nights? Coming down to the green flag, 2 laps to go this time by Nicholas Roman to the gas. Gets a good start. Terlindi got a little sideways entering the apron. Might have cost himself just a little bit of speed, but it does look like he's going to be able to clear Schneider for that second place spot before we get down to the turn number 1, and it is 4 wide, further back in the pack. We've seen it not work multiple times tonight. Can they get out of turn number 2? A-OK. Still 4 wide. Will Height on the outside. Alex Murray just to his inside. Paul Bergoli just to his inside. They cycle it out to 3 before we get down to turns 3 and 4. And Vroman is under pressure from Cody Terlindi, our race pole sitter, all over the back bumper of Vroman coming out of turn number 4. Uses the high groove. Doesn't actually go down to the bottom and use the draft from Vroman. Just continues his run on the outside. He gets the dirty air here, taking the white flag. What can Roman do? Is he going to be able to block? They're wrecking further back. About 10, 12 cars involved in a massive accident at the back of the pack. Roman breaks the draft down the back straightaway over Cody Terlindi one last time through 3 and 4 from the Kansas Speedway. What can Cody Terlindi do coming out of turn number 4? Can he find the run? Or is it going to be Nicholas Roman off at turn number 4? It's going to be Roman. It won't be back-to-back heartbreak for the 95. He will win the Friday night Ryco Performance NiS Top Split on GridVision from the Kansas Speedway.
What a drive, man. What a finish. Oh, my gosh.
Great redemption for Nicholas Roman. I mean, it was a massive, massive pile up through turns 1 and 2. I saw Johnny Baldridge sideways or stuck in the middle of it. I couldn't quite tell what the catalyst was of that accident, but it really doesn't matter at this point as Nicholas Roman's going to come off a turn number 4 on the cooldown lap to give his burnouts here on the front straightaway. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just going to park it there. Okay, well, now I look like Sheldon.
Hey, there you go.
But as Roman's doing his burnouts, couple of burnouts here from our top 3. We're going to jump to our final commercial break. On the other side, we're going to have interviews from our top 3 finishers. Welcome back to the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split from the Kansas Speedway. We have just finished up the racing action, and Nicholas Roman is bringing home the checkered flag. He brings home the P1 position. Cody Terlindi in second. Jacob Schneider rounds out the top 3 with Zach Rinker in 4th. Tommy Gossett with a very respectable 5th place finish after spinning on the opening 5 laps. Clayton Hoffman in 6th. Derek Heitman 7th. Alex Murray in 8th. Edward Schur Jr. in 9th. And Chris Wilhite rounds out the top 10. Sheldon?
In 11th place, you have John Hall, followed by Thomas Hazard in 12th. You got Paul Bagroli in 13th. 14th, you got Jake Matheson, followed by 15th, Patrick Moose and Jimmy Mullis in 16th. 17th is Justin Levine. 18th is Brandon Edstrom. 19th is Richard Garcia. And 20th, rounding out your top 20, is Jeremy B. Davis.
Matt DeCiani finishes in the 21st place spot with Maggie McGuire in 22nd, Brendan T. Himmel in 23rd, Jacob Klein 24th, and Matt Hollabaugh rounds out the top 25 with Channing Ballou, Joseph Kazi, Brad Newman, J.R. Borborema, Johnny Baldridge, Shane Van Gisbergen, Brandon Bikey, Tanner Love, Dalton Collins, and Roger Pierce rounding out the field. We're going to jump straight into our interviews. Up first, we're going to talk to our 3rd place finisher, Jacob Schneider, who is jumping up into the broadcast booth as we speak. Jacob, great race from all of Ryco here tonight, running up into the top 5 all night. Just kind of walk us through your night and talk about the tire saving and really what was going on in those last couple restarts and whether, what would you have liked to have happened, on the 12 lap to go restart, 6 lap to go restart, for you to potentially be able to challenge your teammate Roman for the win here tonight?
Yeah, it was kind of weird how the race played out because it ended up not being tire safe because we weren't going to one-stop it. So it made for like 3 pretty short stints. And in the way the yellows fell, there's like at no point we had like a long run. We always had to split the run in half. So it was full push. It was a lot of fun doing it that way. And I think it kind of played into our setup too. I don't think I had anything for Roman long run, but I'm a better tuner than him, so I was hoping that 12 laps would go to the end because I think I made better adjustments than him. That would have been my only chance. But glad Ryco came out of this with a 1-2-3. Congrats to Cody, our customer, finishing P2. That's pretty cool. And it was a good race, a lot of green flag race.
I'm sorry about that, Jacob, but yeah, no kidding. We did have a lot of good, like you mentioned, about 20 to 35 lap green flag runs. It was kind of strange, kind of opposite what we saw from a lot of the A Open. So I mean, it was just, I felt like there was a lot going on tonight, to be honest with you. A lot of movement throughout the field, but one consistent thing was, you being in the top 5 area. So just kind of talk to us about, how were you able to keep it up in the top the entire night? And, you mentioned maybe you didn't have anything from it on the long run, but if that 12-lap stint did go green, do you think that you would have been able to get side by side and potentially pull a slider on them?
Yeah, I think I'd had a chance, but Roman's no slouch. He wouldn't have made it easy. It would have been a good race, but odds are we might have wrecked each other or something too, and let one slip away again. But I think being behind Roman was good for me. Actually, he kind of set the pace, and even at the end of the run when he was a little quicker, he could pull me along in the draft. I think that all helped.
Well, Jacob, big congratulations on the top 3 finish here tonight for the NiS Top Split. Who do you have to thank?
Got to thank everyone at Ryco again. Ken, Brandon, Roman. He did a lot of testing this week. And my family watched the broadcast. You guys for putting the broadcast on.
Well, big thank you to you, Jacob, as well, for being here and putting on a good show for us tonight. And congratulations once again on the 3rd place finish.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was our 3rd place finisher, Jacob Schneider. Next up, Sheldon is going to give his first interview ever. It's going to be to Cody Terlindi, our 2nd place finisher. Sheldon, take it away.
Hey, Cody, man, you had a up and down night, back and forth in positions from pretty much start to finish. What was that, part of the strategy? Were you saving tire? What was up?
We were just trying to get it figured out. I don't do this a lot often, so just running a setup bought right off Ryco.com. So trying to get it figured out, running my 2nd or 3rd race of the week, and filling out the tire wheel there.
Well, man, you ran an awesome race, and honestly, that's pretty solid advertisement for Ryco right there, if I've ever seen one. You got anybody you want to shout out? Anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I think so. They're my former teammates, so being able to run with them and come in and do this part time and not very often with work and school and all that on top of it, it's really cool that they embrace that. They put out fast sets every week, so you can buy them straight from the website. Run competitively. I mean, we had a NASCAR driver and a Coke driver here. We got ran on today.
Absolutely, man. Hey, you had an incredible race, dude.
Appreciate you guys.
No problem. Appreciate you.
Alrighty, that was our 2nd place finisher, Cody Terlindi. Next up, we're going to bring up our race winner, Nicholas Vroman, up to the booth. Vroman, we were talking about the heartbreak on Monday night, and I think in the call at the very end of the race, I mentioned redemption. Just talk about that tonight. I mean, does this make up for Monday night?
Honestly, I don't really live in the past too much. That race has happened, it's gone, doesn't matter anymore. I guess you could say it makes up for it, but end of the day, you're able to get done tonight.
Well, you just had massive speed. I know you say you don't live in the past, but we noticed it Monday night that you had a really, really good speed. And here tonight, once again, it seemed like you found another step. How much practice did you put into this week? How many, your teammate Schneider had talked about how many laps you put in. How much time did you really put in this week? And did that make the difference here tonight?
Test laps probably quite a bit. Me and Jacob are always out there doing testing, for the team, trying to get the best product out that we can. Race-wise, this is only my 4th or 5th race, so not really many race laps, but test laps a whole bunch.
Did the race kind of play out in the way that you expected with the kind of shorter stints that we saw, or were you expecting longer green flag runs to where you would actually have to manage the tires a little bit more? Like, were you surprised that we saw the amount of cautions that we did and the time frame that they fell in?
Yeah, this race was weird. The first one, obviously, everyone's trying to save the tires. I think like JR and Brad Newman kind of went out there and cooked them, got out there to a little bit of lead, and we're starting to catch them down when the first caution came out. But yeah, all the cautions were like, it just seemed like 30, 40 lap runs, before we made a pit stop. It was a weird race.
Well, Nicholas, congratulations on coming out on top here tonight on the green-white checkered. Who do you have to thank at the end of the interview?
Shout out to Sean Conklin, man. He wasn't here tonight. He's actually testing, doing some work for Ryco for Darlington, so I'm happy for him for actually providing a little bit here tonight for the team instead of just, running the sets out here with us. So shout out to Sean. Shout out to Jacob, man, our team leader. Jacob, he's awesome. I'm not gonna call him my friend because no one's my friend, but he's pretty awesome, man. All the work he puts in. Ken, I don't like Ken at all. I'm not even gonna talk about him. And shout out to everybody on track, man. It was honestly up front was pretty clean. Nothing too crazy happened up there, so it was a pretty clean race overall. And shout out to you guys in the booth.
We appreciate you, Nick, and a big congratulations on bringing home the checkered flag tonight in the Ryco Performance Friday night NIS Top Split. And then, like Sheldon said in our other interview, great advertisement for Ryco finishing 1, 2, 3 here tonight. So big congratulations to the entire team for putting up a good set that allowed you guys to race up towards the front. And once again, just a big congratulations to you for bringing home the checkered flag.
Thank you. And Jacob also needs to do a few push-ups. Arms looking a little weak out there. That's probably why he couldn't get me. He couldn't really wheel the thing. I think he was getting exhausted. I heard him breathing heavy. I don't know what was going on, but he sounded exhausted, back there. So he needs to work out a little bit more, I think.
Oh man, I wish I had access to the Ryco Discord so I could hear y'all's bickering back and forth after the race. Oh man, I love the gamesmanship between teammates. But once again, big congratulations to our first place finisher, Nicholas Roman, as we start to round out our broadcast for tonight. And that is going to do it for us here from the GridVision booth for the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split. From the entire GridVision team, we'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat. For more information on getting your league broadcaster or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Congratulations to Nicholas Roman on winning tonight's race from the Kansas Speedway. This has been Austin Edstrom alongside Sheldon Atkins in his iRacing commentary debut, and our producer, Austin Derbyshire. We will see you next time on the grid.